Hello everyone. Our sermon today concentrates on Gabriel appearing to Mary and announcing the wonderful news of the birth of Jesus. I wonder if you've ever wanted to be chosen for something. I can remember queuing up in a corridor for a part in a school play. I thought I'd probably get the lead role. In actual fact, I was told I could be a prompter. I think it was a consolation prize, but it wasn't much of a consolation. I expect you have also perhaps gone in for some competition, maybe a painting competition or a writing a story competition, thinking you would win the prize, only to be told you weren't even a runner-up. Often most of us want to be chosen for something special. Here we have a story about two people who were chosen. One of them was an angel, and we only know his name because of the message that he brought that day. He was called Gabriel. And the other was an ordinary woman from an ordinary family, not rich or famous, whom God chose to be the bearer of his son. And so the story tells us that Gabriel came to this ordinary woman and said to her, "You are going to bear a son, and he is going to be the Son of the Most High." He was announcing that she had been chosen to bear the Messiah that Jews had looked for down through the centuries. I'm sure that Mary was startled. I'm not sure that Mary was pleased. And Gabriel must have wondered what the message was all about. But he was faithful to having been chosen, and he delivered it in full. Sometimes God chooses us for a specific task. We don't always know what that task will be, nor where it will lead us, and it may not necessarily be a happy task. But we know that when God chooses us, it is because he knows that we have the skills and the talents necessary to perform the job he's chosen us to do. So here we have that historic meeting between Gabriel and Mary. Just think about it. If Gabriel had not delivered that message to Mary, if Mary had not agreed to go along with it, we would never even have known their names. But right down through the centuries, we have remembered them, simply because of that message and because of the birth of Jesus. When God chooses us for something, we need to respond. And we need to respond with a yes, as Mary did. Because we never know where it will lead, nor what task we can perform to the glory of God. So sometimes God will choose you. It might just be a simple task, to visit somebody in need, to visit the sick, to send a card, to write a letter. Only today I read a story in a magazine. It was about a lady who worked in a food store for those who were poverty stricken. It wasn't in England, it was in America. And it was coming up to Christmas. They were busy packing parcels for all those who relied on these free donations. They'd packed them all up for their regular customers, and they'd added gifts, both for the recipient and for their children. They had 2 days in which they were going to deliver these parcels. So eager were the recipients to get them that most of them turned up on the first day, and only one person, Marilyn, did not come. "Never mind," said the owner of the shop, "I'll keep it back for her for tomorrow." And she put it away in a storeroom. The next morning, when she came to open up the shop, she was horrified. Somebody had broken in during the night, had cleared the stockroom, had cleared the till, and had even taken the parcel packed up for Marilyn and her family. "What can I do?" she said. "There's nothing left." She searched high and low but could find nothing. And then she heard a voice say to her, "Look in the till." She opened the till, and sure enough there was no money there, but right at the back, wedged in, was a gift card for a supermarket that somebody had donated to buy food for the food store. I can give that to Marilyn, she said. That at least will ensure her food for Christmas week. But then she said, Lord, what about the presents that we normally give out as well? What about the children who will have nothing on Christmas Day? And Marilyn, who have nothing to brighten her day? She went back into the storeroom, and in a dusty corner she found a brown box tied up with a red ribbon. When she took it to the counter and opened it, she found in it a red dress, just in Marilyn's size, a present for her for Christmas. But what about the children, Lord, she said. She went back to the till and she searched frantically. And then, again, right at the back of the till, she found another gift card, one that could be used to buy toys for children for Christmas. Chosen to be in an ordinary food store catering to those who were poverty-stricken and impoverished. But in a moment of need, God chose her to be the means to ensure that Marilyn and her family had a happy Christmas. I wonder what God has chosen you to do. Have you asked him? You'd be amazed what a difference you can make to someone's life. But not only was Mary chosen, she was also called. God never actually forces us to do anything. He can niggle us, he can make us uneasy, he can give us the idea that we have to do something, but he never forces us to do it. And I'm sure that Mary thought very carefully about what he was asking us to do. This was not the 2000s, when an unmarried mother was nothing to be ashamed of, and when lots of families have children without a parent, a single parent, or with only a single parent. It's not that unusual today, but it was very unusual then. She pointed at Joseph, her fiancé, would probably put her away. All kinds of horrible things loomed for her in the future. But Mary decided that if God wanted her to bear his son she would, and she committed herself to the task. I'm sure in that moment she didn't know what lay ahead. She didn't see that stable in Bethlehem. She didn't see that cross against the sky. She didn't see her grief and her sorrow. But she agreed to do what God asked her to do because she trusted God, and she looked to him to make it okay in the end, chosen and committed. But Mary was also celebrated. We live in a world of celebrities. I belong to a Readly app which enables me to read all the magazines I want, and I see OK magazines and all the others featured on that app. I rarely open them, but if I do, I don't know who half the celebrities actually are. But other people follow them, and they want to know every detail of their lives. Indeed, in their innermost hearts, they want to be like them. Somebody that everybody knows. Somebody with lots of wealth and power. How wonderful that would be. Mary never thought she was going to become a celebrity on that day. She never thought that her name would be known down through the ages and revered. She never knew that she'd get the title, at least from the Catholic Church, of the Queen of Heaven. She never knew that her portrait would be in 1 million stained glass windows, or that people would be praying to her. But she said yes. And following on from that, her name is better known than probably many a queen with all of her power and riches and glory. If we mention Mary and the Christmas story, everybody knows the role that she played, though they have forgotten the latest film star or the latest rich person who featured on the pages of the celebrity news. Mary's celebrity came not from wealth, not from power, not necessarily from good looks, because we have no idea really what she looked like. It came from being willing to do what God asked of her. And because of Mary, we have Jesus. And Gabriel too, the secondary role in this story. He had the privilege of bringing the next most famous message in the religious world. The first one was one delivered by another angel, one whose name we don't know, who said to the women at the tomb, "He is not here, he is risen." What an honour for Gabriel and those other unknown angels that they brought those two messages that made such a difference to our lives and such a difference to the way that we live. Because of that birth in Bethlehem, because of that rising from the tomb, we have a friend and a Saviour who is with us day by day in whatever circumstances we find ourselves. So if God chooses you, if God asks you to make a commitment, say yes, because you never know where that commitment will lead.